Yo, spot me YouTube world. It's been a long time coming. Definitely didn't think I would be here again. Honestly, I completely forgot about this particular portion of sneaker collecting. It's been maybe like 15, 16 years since the last time I did this. So yeah, we're gonna get into it. So welcome to my YouTube channel, formerly known as Sneaker Freak. At one point I was Sneaker Freaker, or Sneaker Freaka rather. I then changed my name to the Shoe Hefner, and then over time and years it has just morphed into Heff. So you are currently looking at the original Sneaker Freak 88, the original Shoe Hefner, now aka Mr. Heff or Heffsquiat. So how did we get here? So we got here basically by, you'll be able to see, like, I'm gonna upload my video to my channel, so you'll be able to see some of my older videos that again are really, really old. But you'll just be able to see like the differences now than before. You know, life happened. You grow up, you know, your taste changes and, you know, things happen. So I think the last time y'all seen me, I was freshly married. I had just had my junior. My junior is 16, or will be 16. So yeah, and then there are more children. So yeah, man, it's just like a catch up. It's like a catch up video, kind of wanting to get back into the sharing my collection space. The sneaker game has become more favorable to those that are collectors. For a while, the sneaker game got super nasty and it was just really about making money and reselling. Now it's back to the true form of the love of sneaker collecting, at least so I think. Obviously, I've been collecting sneakers for over 20 years now. So it's been over 20 years now. My collection is crazy because recently I had viewed, so sort of how we got here essentially is when you have adolescent children, teenage children, and they don't think that you're cool, or they don't necessarily see their parent as being like hip or what have you. Sometimes you gotta remind them, you know. In the great words of Kendrick Lamar, sometimes you gotta pop out and show niggas. So, you know, I had to show my kids, like, you know, things, like I was doing YouTube before YouTube was a thing, before everybody was a YouTuber. And it kind of blew my daughter's mind, like, oh my God, Dad, why didn't you tell me you were a YouTuber? And I'm like, girl, I forgot about that stuff. Because again, it's been well over 15, 16 years. So that's kind of how we got back into it. My kids kind of talked me into it, was like, Dad, you should do it again. You got a crazy collection. You should, you know so much about sneakers. And a lot of times the conversation with my oldest, Chris Jr., is mainly talking about the history of said sneaker that I grabbed, or the pair that I have, or, you know, what it was like trying to get said sneaker. And that's kind of how we arrived here. I have a little bit of free time on my hands to be able to do this. So yeah, so here we are. So this is kind of like my introduction video back into the vlogging, sneaker vlogging, videoing world. Like I said, it's been a long time. A lot has changed, obviously. Last time you see me, I did not have locks. My hair was not this long. And I was probably like 25 pounds lighter. I don't know. But at any rate, I just wanted to come on here really quickly and just kind of give an introduction video. I wanted to show just a handful of pieces that I have currently. It is by far not my entire collection. Currently, I have 3 different sneaker rooms / closets. So my kids know how many sneakers I have. I don't know, because when they get bored, they just count them. So I don't know what the actual number is, to be completely honest with you, but it's definitely over like 500. I just don't know exactly how many. So yeah, without further ado, I just kind of want to get into, you know, what I currently have to show you like some of my pieces. And then the other thing too is anybody that is well within the sneaker game or understand the sneaker game. Nike has been really blessing us with opening up that vault and giving us some grails, like things that we never thought that, at least me, that I never thought that I would be able to get my hands on. Did I have grails that were like personal grails? Yes, like grails that were obtainable that, you know, I got before the hype, sure. But like there were just certain pieces that were like country exclusives. There were certain pieces that were limited to family and friends. There were, you know, just certain pieces that were specific to a certain demographic that was like either you had to be one of the ones or you just had to have a bunch of money to be able to afford one piece. And I think within the past year and a half, 2 years, Nike has given us 4 or 5 grails that, well, I mean, we're talking like limited pieces. Like one of the grails, there were only 72 made when they first came out. There were only 72 made of them. They came out recently. Yeah, there were a bunch of sneakers recently that have rehashed. Nike, if by chance the sneaker god smile on me and you happen to see my video, continue to go into the vault. Like there's more that y'all can release. There's more that true sneakerheads like myself want. There's more that you guys can dig in and go and get, please. So yeah, without further ado, I'm just gonna show you a couple of my pieces, and then I'll show you like the grails that I'm speaking of specifically. So I'm gonna start with probably like the first grail that I got, that I've had, probably is the oldest, would be the Nike Air Yeezy Zen. Yep. So, as you can see, they've been worn. I have worn them. I mistakenly trying to clean them. This was a long time ago, but I mistakenly used a chemical to try to get a mark off of the toe box. And I stripped the paint. And then I tried to like paint them myself. As you can see, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I completely fucked up the sneaker. But regardless, it doesn't matter because it's, you know, I still wear them. So, and that's kind of like my imperfection on the actual sneaker. So yes, the Nike Air Yeezy 1 Zen. Just completely love the sneaker, but this is something that I have in my collection now. And if you ever go back and you look at like my collection before, when I was a lot younger, the main things that I carried or that I had would be like Jordans, obviously, Kobe's, LeBron's, some KD's. I'm trying to think, like, I wasn't really doing designer at that time, so I had maybe like one designer sneaker. But it was mainly like Jordans, because how I fell in love with the game of sneakers was through Jordans. And it was the Jordans that my mom didn't necessarily want to spend the money on when I was a kid. And when I became an adult, was like, yep, gonna get them, gonna get them, gonna get them. So now my collection is a lot more vast. I have just as many designer sneakers as I have streetwear sneakers. So yeah, that's one of them. Here is another pair. Yeezy Red Octobers. A lot of young kids don't really know about these. No, these are not the original laces. This was the closest thing that I could find to the Red October lace. The laces were kind of effed up, or I effed them up myself rather. So this is a replacement lace. But yeah, if sort of you know, you know. This is a really expensive sneaker, and this could probably pay down someone's mortgage. So have these are a size 7.5. Last time I was with you guys, I was like a 6.5, 7. And I am now a 7, men's 7. Typically I go 7.5 just because I have a wider foot, so I typically like that comfort. So I wanted to first point out those two. In regards to, those would be like the oldest two grails that I have, like that I didn't buy resale. I mean, if you know the story of the Red Octobers, they were released on Twitter. Like some random day, the announcement was made on Twitter and it broke the internet. So I was one of the lucky ones to get a pair early. So I didn't get them retail, I did pay resale, but this was before like resale was, I think these are going now right now, the market is maybe like 25K for 7.5, something like that. And I certainly didn't pay 25K for them, but yeah, so Some other notables within my collection. Got a pair of Dior 1 lows, still fresh. These have not been worn yet. Shout out to my shopper, personal shopper, Juan. I don't know if he's still in the Navy Yard or the shipyard in Manhattan. I don't know if he's still there, but if you're watching, shout out to you. I got these like on a whim. I got a text that he had a pair and I was able to get a pair. So yeah, these are like a special pair that is like, you gotta like put them on at like for the right occasion, for the right time. Obviously I haven't had that right time or right occasion just yet. So these are still dead stock. They're still sitting. So yep, Dior 1 lows that are still on ice. In regards to like what I have the most of, like obviously I have a great deal of Jordans. In regards to Jordans, I probably have more Jordan 1s than anything. And I mean that can include like collaborations, Travis Scott's, which I have most of them. I think I'm missing like 3 or 4 Travis Scott 1 collabs that I don't have. But then I have like a myriad of just Air Jordan 1s because they're so versatile. So another pair of Grails. Yes, I have worn these. But the Off-White Chicago's, I've worn these twice, but yeah. Got a pair of these. I did get these resale, but I didn't pay the astronomical number that they are currently. So yeah, I have a pair of Off-White Chicago 1s. I also have a pair of UNC 1s. These are still fresh. Tag still on them. Have not worn these yet. This to me is like a true summertime sneaker, and I don't really go anywhere. So a lot of my kicks, believe it or not, are still dead stock. The 2 Yeezys are not. Those Chicago Off-Whites are not, but these are obviously still dead stock. I just haven't found the right time to put them on, but I guess eventually I will put them on. But yeah, Off-Whites, UNC 1s. I did recently get the Alaska Off-White 1s. That was another Grail that was re-released by Jordan not too long ago. So they should be here. I was kind of waiting, sitting on them to see what the price would be for them. And they dropped considerably. So I feel like I got them at a decent price, or at least what I was comfortable paying for them. So yeah, when I get them, I will do a video unboxing those once I do get them, because I do have, I think I have 3 pairs coming in soon, but that's neither here nor there. Trophy Room 1s. Yes, these are still dead stock. I have not worn my Trophy Rooms yet. And the reason that none of these are in the boxes right now is because it's just easy to, like, some of them I had boxes, some of them I had like, and as you see when I do my videos, I switch to clear boxes. So a lot of my boxes I got rid of because I was running out of space, and I just converted them to smaller clear boxes, which a lot of these sit in now. So this would be like one of those pairs, and I know this was a pair that I was never going to sell. So yes, these are, you know, I didn't necessarily, like, lace is still in them. Like I said, these are still very much brand new, but the Trophy Room 1s, last I checked, which has been a while, for those, I think they, in my size, I think they was going for maybe like 7,000, I think. Not 100% sure what the market is on those. So yeah, another pair that I have, Gatorade 6s, the Like Mike 6s. I don't know if you guys remember the commercial, Like Mike, I wanna be like Mike. These were just like a pair that, like, if you know, you know, needed to be added into the collection. As you can see, still brand new. Haven't worn these either. Really love this pair. I was able to get, I had to wait these out almost, I think I waited these out maybe like 6 years before I was able to get them at a reasonable price. And I'm glad I got them when I did, because they're back up now. Last I checked, I think these are going for like almost 800 for these. So like, I had these, I still have the box for with the towel that it comes with, the Like Mike towel and all of that. So yeah, man, these are a dope pair. I do look forward to you know, piecing together a little fit with them. So that was kind of like just a dive into what I've been sitting on. One of the things that I wanted to start showing is like, again, what kind of got me into it. I was able to grab some Grail. So these are sneakers. What I'm getting ready to show you now were sneakers that I never thought that I would be able to get my hands on. Like ever thought I would be able to get my hands on. So I'm gonna start with this pair first. So, if you know, you know. The crazy part is the love for the foams have died. All my old heads understand, all my OG sneaker heads understand, like you just had to be here, like that year, that All-Star game, or that All-Star year when they did like the whole drop, when they did, I think these came out the same year as like the Big Bangs, the LeBron Big Bang 9s, I believe was the same year. Kobe had an All-Star sneak. Durant had an All-Star sneak. This is back when you had, you know, when Nike had like a roster, right? Like Nike basketball had a roster. I mean, one famous story with these that, of course, a lot of people should know if you collect, but if you don't, when these came out, it was crazy pandemonium for these. Somebody actually traded a car to get these sneakers. Yeah, like that's how crazy it is. The market on these now is garbage. There is no real market for these currently, and I'm not mad at it because somebody that actually collects sneakers, I don't buy sneakers to sell, somebody that actually collects sneakers to be able to get in, as you can see, still brand new, never been worn. I was unable to get these when they first came out. Part of the reason that I was unable to get these when they first came out is because I was still wearing grade school. So because I was still wearing grade school, it was really tough years ago, really tough to find men's size 7. So I would always revert to grade school, and back then they didn't make foams for grade school. Back then, that was strictly a man sneaker. Now they make them for little kids now, which I think they look a little weird. I don't really like the makeup of the little kid foams, but nonetheless, I do wear men's 7, men's 7.5 now. So yeah, that was a cool story on those. I was able to get my hands on those. Another pair would be Tokyo 5s. And again, this is another Grail sneaker. Also brand new, never been worn. If you know the history of these, and the purpose of this video is not to give like full history on this stuff, sort of like just to touch on it very sparingly, but this particular sneaker itself was a Tokyo exclusive. They only dropped in Tokyo. And when I try to tell my kids that, you know, like before like the internet, before, you know, we had access to like resell, like gold. I personally don't shop on StockX. I've always been a gold guy. You know, it's the sneaker resale game. There's a million, you know, boutique resales everywhere. But back then it wasn't. And you literally had to be one of them ones, or you had to have some money or whatever to be able to, you know, acquire some of these things. So Nike went in the vault and they released them, and there was a few minor changes in regards to the color blocking, like on the toe, adding the yellow on the toe. The originals didn't have the yellow on the toe box. And there were a few other subtle changes that they made on the actual sneaker. I honestly do not care, because this in itself to me was a Grail. Like, you could only get these if you went to Tokyo. So when these came out, I had to get them, and I was able to acquire them, get my hands on them. So yeah, Tokyo 5s. Once more, we have another Grail that I'm going to show. Yeah, man, the undefeated 4s, man. Like, I don't really know what much to say about these outside of I never thought I would hold a pair of these in my hand. If you know, I think Undefeated was probably the first independent brand, or the first brand to collaborate with Jordan brand. Like, now you have all types of collaborators, J Balvin, you have Travis Scott, you have Undefeated still, you have Ama Manier. So you have like a plethora of people that collab with the Jordan brand now. Like, that's like a thing now. Back then it was unheard of. When they made these, the Undefeateds, there was only 72 made. Obviously, if you know the story of these, these were supposed to commemorate the Chicago Bulls 72 and what was it, 72 and whatever season, the season that they won 72 games. I think it was 72-9 or whatever their record was. I can't remember offhand, but yeah, like these at a time were like $65,000 sneakers, like because there were only 72 produced worldwide. And then when they, teased that they was coming back out, I was just like, yeah, it's kind of hard to really, tell now with the sneaker game, like what's real, what's not. This was at one point supposed to be another exclusive release, and they were supposed to be limited. And then later on, stock numbers were revealed, and there were a lot more than just that. So I paid resale for this pair, which wasn't terrible, resale. However, I also hit on Nike maybe like 2 months later for retail for these pair, and I couldn't pass this up. And these were a shock drop. So 2 pairs, both still very brand new, but being able to hold 2 pair undefeated fours when this was like a sneaker that I was like, yeah, my living soul will never be able to get my hands on. To get 2 pairs to me, I think is like absolutely dope. So yeah, that's, again, as you can see, it's like a kid in a candy store when you get certain things like that. So yeah, I was able to acquire both of those. One I paid resale, one I paid retail. So yeah, lastly but not least, and obviously I have a lot more sneakers. It was really difficult to kind of try to pull or curate what I wanted to show just on this really quick video as like a get back type of video. It was really tough to really pull from the wall, like, okay, what are you gonna show, what are you gonna grab? Because my collection right now consists of, as I told you, designer sneakers. I do have Jordans. I have a ton of Jordans. I'm an Air Max guy, so I love Air Max 1s. I have a ton of Air Max 1s. I probably have 50 to 60 pairs of Air Max 1s. I'm an Air Max 95 guy. I have a ton of Air Max 95s. I have every original colorway from 95 of the Air Max 95s, that being the neons, the comet reds, the grapes, the slate blues, missing one, the solar red. So, and then I have the other, like, the other neon colors that came out and non-original colorways. I have those as well. So big fan of them. I went on a dunk craze at one point. Like, I got a shit ton of dunks. And I feel like as I'm doing these videos and I'm showing my actual collection, I'm going to kind of break it down by like the sneaker. So I'm probably going to have videos that talk specifically about dunks and what I think are my best dunks. Because I do have some grills that are dunks. I might do, videos on my Air Max 1s. I do plan to do a video of showing my entire collection, which is obviously going to take time. But yeah, it was just kind of difficult trying to pick out what I wanted to show for the first video and kind of discuss and talk about and things of that nature. So without further ado, I'm going to show this last one. Recent pickup would have been these. These are the Jordan 6 Miro. If you know, another sneaker that I never thought I would have my hands on. This was not even released in the United States. I think this was a Barcelona exclusive. There was only 1,000 of these made. It was supposed to commemorate the Dream Team when they won gold in Barcelona. And Jordan Brand essentially, he collabed with a Barcelona-based artist, Joan Miro, who is known for this color palette in regards to what's on the sneaker, like his actual art. So they collabed and made 1,000 pairs, and this was also, again, like another super exclusive. Like, you had to be like a true sneaker collector, one of the ones, be in the area, but it was released commemorating that, and these recently came out. I was able to get my hands on a pair. It's crazy because, nowadays it'll be, people would say like, oh, the sneaker's garbage, sneaker's trash, I don't want it. The younger sneakerheads, the ones that are like the next generation, I guess. But ironically enough, these sold out, and they sold out pretty quickly too. And I believe the stock on sneakers was under 2,000, I believe. That's what I was hearing. I'm not 100% sure, but these were actually one of the easier pickups for me because not a lot of people wanted them, but they sold out, so it's kind of weird. But yeah, the Jordan 7 Miros, never had these in my collection. So the ones that I didn't have in my collection previous when they came out would be the Galaxy Foams, the Undefeated Fours, the Tokyo Fives, and the Miro 7. So yeah, I'm, again, like a kid in a candy store, being able to like physically hold certain grails. Obviously, there are so much more grails and things that I do want to have within my collection. But with time, pieces, I'll continue to curate my piece. Now, I have gotten out of the game several times. I've given away, like, there's one video that I had from like 16 years ago where I'm like standing in front of like my whole collection, and which now seems very small because my collection, like one of my closets is bigger than that collection, and I have 3 different sneaker closets. I only own currently 2 pair of the original collection that I have. The rest of them I gave away. And I did that like 2 or 3 times before I got back in the game. And this is probably the biggest that my collection has been. A lot of times people ask me like, yo, what do you think you've spent on sneakers in your lifetime? I honestly don't have any clue on what I've spent on sneakers within my lifetime. I mean, it's up there. I can tell you it's definitely up there. And then also because a lot of the things that I have, I've bought 3-4 times, i.e., trying to think something quick that I may have had. The playoff 8s, I've had those sneakers 3 different times, 3 different releases. I bought them 3 different times. The black and infrared 6s, I've owned those 3 different times. So, like, I can't really quantify what I've spent on sneakers. Yes, I've spent a pretty penny. And ironically enough, back then I was always talking about like passing a lot of that stuff down to my son. He really wasn't into sneakers. He's kind of getting into sneakers now. And now because the sneaker game is becoming more, sneaker collector friendly again, he's seeing like the excitement and the joy of being able to go out and camp out for a pair and things that I grew up on, right? This was before raffles. This was before, like tickets and lines and resale. Like back then, again, talking about real sneakerheads, resale meant $50 on top of whatever retail price was, $100 max. But like people grab certain sneakers and flip them for hundreds of dollars, sometimes thousands of dollars. And it's astronomical to me because you have people that literally just buy to sell. It's like a money grab. So again, it took me a hard time to kind of, reconcile with that, if you will, because it was like, for somebody that loves sneakers, like I absolutely love sneakers. I know the history of the sneaker that I'm getting. When you see someone that doesn't have the same excitement and they're in it for what I deem to be other reasons, for me it's like, but again, to each his own, whatever floats your boat. I'm certainly not judging anybody, especially when, the sneaker game is so sneaker friendly now. So yeah, man, you're gonna be seeing a lot more of me, man. I don't know what I'm gonna deem this, if this is gonna be, sneaker Sundays, Sunday sneaker talks. Like, I don't know what I'm going to dub this. I do want to get a little bit more active with, like I said, reviewing my kicks and showing my collection and, just kind of put myself back out there, especially because I do have a lot more vast of a collection than I did previously when I first started. But yeah, like, welcome to my world. I'm excited about, this next step and, being able to share what I have. A lot of people that I spoke to about this, they was like, they think it's a good idea to kind of get back out there and share it, and I have the time to do it. So why not? So yeah, this is, your boy Heff, AKA Heffsquiat, AKA the Sneaker Freak 88, AKA the Shoe Hefner. I'm again back. So you guys know the drill. Like, comment, subscribe. You can follow my socials. I'm not really active on a lot of socials outside of Instagram. I do have a Twitter, or X rather. I do have Threads. That's really it. I have a TikTok, but my TikTok is specifically for cooking. So like working out and cooking. But that's really it. Like to engage and see, like, again, sneaker pickups when I do get them. You'll get more of that content on Instagram. So again, we're gonna try to curate something special. I'm gonna try to make this special for the people that truly love collecting sneakers. I think it's a dope community. I love the sneaker community just like I love the running community. I'm a runner. That's other things that's changed about me. Like I've run, as of this video, I have done a half marathon. I'm a half marathon finisher. I'm a 10-mile finisher. I'm doing the Philly half marathon in November of this year. So I had a little health scare a couple weeks ago that had gave me a hiccup in my training block. I was supposed to start my training block July 1st, but we're gonna get back soon in regards to getting back into my training block. So yeah, man, I hope y'all enjoyed. This video as much as I enjoyed delivering it to you. Again, you will see a lot more content and a lot more sneaker content, because that's all this is going to be, is just sneaker content, talking about drops, releases, what's in my collection, things of that nature. Once again, like, comment, subscribe. All of my socials are the same thing, Heffsquiat. I'll put that in the video, but it's Heffsquiat, sort of like Basquiat, but Heffsquiat. And yeah, I look forward to doing this a lot more. Again, I am excited about this project, and I hope you guys enjoyed this just as much as I enjoyed delivering it. Heffsquiat signing out. Peace.